INFJ's worst enemy. If you're an INFJ personality type or you know one, you might already have an idea of who is INFJ's worst enemy. INFJs are the rarest Myers-Briggs personality type, known for their deep empathy, intuition, and idealism. But beneath their caring and thoughtful exterior, INFJs often struggle with internal battles that can sabotage their own well-being and happiness. Today, we'll dive deep into the self-sabotaging tendencies of INFJs, uncover why this happens, and explore how INFJs can break free from the patterns that hold them back. 1. The perfectionism trap: chasing unrealistic standards. One of the key ways INFJs become their own worst enemy is through perfectionism. INFJs are idealists by nature, constantly striving for excellence in everything they do. While this can lead to high-quality work and personal achievement, it also sets them up for disappointment. INFJs tend to hold themselves to unrealistic standards, whether it's in their careers, relationships, or personal growth. They have an internal image of how things should be, and when reality falls short of this ideal, they can be incredibly hard on themselves. Instead of celebrating their achievements, INFJs often focus on the small imperfections. They may feel like they're never good enough, which can lead to burnout and self-doubt. This self-criticism becomes a vicious cycle, and they often set even higher expectations for themselves, perpetuating the feeling of not being enough. 2. Overthinking and analysis paralysis. INFJs are deep thinkers, and while this is one of their greatest strengths, it's also one of their biggest weaknesses. They tend to overanalyze everything, from their own actions to the behaviors of others. This can lead to analysis paralysis, where they are so consumed by their thoughts that they struggle to make decisions or take action. For example, an INFJ might spend hours overthinking a conversation they had with someone, wondering if they said the right thing, how the other person interpreted it, and what they should have said differently. This overthinking doesn't just waste time, it can also damage their self-esteem as they focus on what they perceive to be mistakes or failures. In relationships, this tendency to overanalyze can create unnecessary tension. INFJs may second-guess their partner's feelings, leading to miscommunication and emotional distance. Instead of enjoying the present moment, they get caught up in what-ifs and worst-case scenarios. 3. Emotional overload: taking on too much. INFJs are known for their deep empathy and ability to connect with others on an emotional level. While this makes them excellent listeners and compassionate friends, it also means that they can take on too much emotional burden from those around them. INFJs have a tendency to absorb the emotions of the people they care about. If a friend is going through a tough time, the INFJ will feel that pain almost as intensely as if it were their own. Over time, this emotional overload can become too much to bear. INFJs can become drained and overwhelmed, leading to emotional exhaustion. The problem is that INFJs often ignore their own needs in favor of helping others. They feel a strong sense of responsibility to support the people around them, but they rarely give themselves the same care and attention. This neglect of self-care can lead to burnout and emotional shutdown. 4. The constant search for meaning. INFJs are known for their desire to find meaning and purpose in everything they do. While this can be incredibly motivating, it can also become a source of frustration. INFJs often feel like they are on a never-ending quest for deeper understanding and fulfillment, which can lead them to feel dissatisfied with the present moment. For example, an INFJ may have a fulfilling job, but if it doesn't align perfectly with their personal values or long-term vision, they may start to feel restless and question whether they are truly making a difference. This constant search for meaning can make it difficult for INFJs to appreciate where they are in life and to find contentment in the present. 5. Struggles with self-worth. One of the most profound ways INFJs become their own worst enemy is through their struggle with self-worth. Despite their deep empathy and ability to uplift others, INFJs often have a hard time valuing themselves. They are extremely self-critical, constantly questioning whether they are good enough, smart enough, or deserving of love and success. INFJs are often driven by a desire to make the world a better place, but they can easily fall into the trap of feeling like they're not doing enough. They may compare themselves to others, wondering why they aren't making as much of an impact as they should be. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy and a fear of failure. 6. Avoidance of conflict, even when it's necessary. INFJs tend to avoid conflict at all costs. Their peace-loving nature makes them uncomfortable with confrontation, even when it's necessary. This can lead to them suppressing their own needs or bottling up emotions, which eventually results in resentment or emotional outbursts when the pressure becomes too much. Instead of addressing issues head-on, INFJs might try to maintain harmony at the expense of their own well-being. They may agree to things they don't want to do or avoid expressing their true feelings, which only fuels their internal frustration. The irony is that by avoiding conflict, INFJs often create more conflict for themselves in the long run. Suppressed emotions can lead to passive-aggressive behavior or emotional withdrawal, which damages relationships and leaves the INFJ feeling isolated. 7. Being too idealistic in love. INFJs are romantics at heart, and they often have high ideals when it comes to relationships. They dream of finding a soulmate who will understand them completely and meet their emotional needs. While there's nothing wrong with wanting a deep connection, INFJs can sometimes become so focused on finding the perfect partner that they overlook the value of real, flawed human relationships. This idealism can lead INFJs to set unrealistic expectations in their relationships. They may expect their partner to understand them without having to communicate their feelings, or they may feel disappointed when their partner doesn't meet their emotional needs in the exact way they envisioned. When reality doesn't match their ideal, INFJs can feel disillusioned and hurt, leading to relationship struggles. They may retreat into themselves, thinking they are better off alone than settling for a relationship that isn't perfect. INFJs have many qualities that make them unique and special: deep empathy, intuition, idealism, and a strong sense of purpose. But these same traits can also turn against them, making INFJs their own worst enemy. Perfectionism, overthinking, emotional overload, and a constant search for meaning can lead INFJs to self-sabotage and prevent them from living the fulfilling lives they deserve. The key for INFJs is to learn how to balance their deep emotional insights with self-compassion and self-care. By recognizing their tendencies to overanalyze, take on too much, and avoid conflict, INFJs can begin to break free from the internal struggles that hold them back. It's time for INFJs to embrace their strengths without letting their weaknesses define them. By learning to value themselves, manage their emotions, and accept the imperfections of life, INFJs can finally stop being their own worst enemy and start becoming their own greatest ally.